Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Holly Rosen. I'm the president and co-founder of Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration. And I am so honored that all of you are spending your evening with us. We are going to be taking you on a journey around the world tonight, a special journey from the border to Afghanistan, to Ukraine, to other parts of the world where people are being forced to flee. And you're all here because you care and you have compassion and your voice makes a difference. And Russ from Highest will be with us very soon to tell us how to use your voice to protect the human rights of the people we serve. Just a quick reminder, our program is being recorded and it will be put on our YouTube channel in a private place, and we'll give you access to share with your friends and family. We'd love for you to put your name, your congregation, or your affiliation, your organization in the chat box, and your own personal refugee story if you have one, because that's what really brings us all here, isn't it? And our chat will remain open throughout the evening. We'll be posting links there, and you can put your questions or comments, or we even like it when you just speak when it's appropriate, or maybe at the end of the meeting, there's a Q&A, might be a better time. And you'll be hearing more about what we've been up to at WJCI in the final portion of our meeting. But first, we have a very, very special treat for you all. Father Karol Engelov is the priest at the St. Michael's Ukrainian Catholic Church on Shawner Place in Yonkers. In the last few months, he's become a very, very close ally and friend to all of us here at WJCI. We're so grateful for him. And he's going to start us off with what we call a homily. Father, over to you. You're on mute, Father.
You're on mute.
Father, you're on mute.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
You're good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Okay. So good evening, my dear sisters and brothers. It's a great honor and privilege to be with you for this quarterly meeting. And again, with a sincere gratitude and thankful to the Westchester Jewish Committee and American Jewish Councils for organizing the last month the interfaith trip to Israel. And the result of it is that I am tonight with all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. When I was asked to be with you tonight, I said, well, what I'm gonna talk, to take the Psalms and to go through the Bible, I said, well, but it came to my mind, and I saw in the kitchen a coffee cup that is saying, do small things with great love. Can you see?
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa, exactly. And I said that better than that, we're going to talk about love today. Exactly. On top of that is because it is her anniversary, 25th anniversary of her death. She passed away 1977. A week later of Princess Diana. And right after that year, it came out a beautiful calendar with pictures of Mother Teresa and with the quotations. And one quotation is with Princess Diana saying, if we worry too much about ourselves, we won't have time for others. It's a beautiful picture. Just, a short time before both of them passed away. And the other thing, it is a quotation from Mother Teresa is saying, in the developed countries, there is a poverty of intimacy, a poverty of spirit, of lack of love. There is no greater sickness in the world today than that one, love. And exactly tonight, I would like it to go to this, the biggest lack in the world and sickness, love. When we say that God is love, we understand that love is the essence from which all things proceed. And everything that we see, the stellar systems, the planets, all are nothing else but manifestations of love. And the entire cosmos in its completeness, the whole physical world is love, manifested and materialized. This is the great body of God. Outside of love, we do not know God. Love is connected with all living beings. There's not a living being, there is no living matter. There is not influenced in one way or another by love. That is not closely connected with it. God, who is love, is not only outside us in the universe, but within us also. He is the living bond between all that is without and within. Love enfolds all within itself. Love itself is infinite, and therefore we say only love is eternal. From it flows all life. Love brings the fullness of life. Good, which is a fruit of love, is contained within it. Wisdom is also contained within love because it represents the forms through God's love is manifested. Truth, it's included within love too. And it is the purest image of love. Righteousness, it's also included within love. And therefore, the absolute divine love implies absolute righteousness. And my sisters and brothers, where there's no righteousness, there's no love. The physical aspect of love is righteousness. In order that love be manifested on earth, there must necessarily be righteousness. Only he who is enlightened with righteousness is capable of receiving the divine love. The greatest thing in the world is to come to know God as love. The beauty of our life is in our connection with God, who is love. Love contains within itself all conditions, all possibilities, all methods by which the human soul might develop to its fullness. A few moments of existence within the divine love are infinitely more precious than 1,000 years of ordinary human life spent at the great pleasures and enjoyments. In loving God, we seek God. We have to love God in order to experience Him. In receiving Him, we experience His wisdom. It is written in the scripture, in the Bible, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. So, loving God, you're in the divine world. Loving yourself, your soul, you are in the spiritual world. Loving your neighbor, you are in the physical world. This is a great example of Mother Teresa. However, we have to remember a great truth: only God loves, because God is love. And I'm going to use tonight the Latin version: Deus caritas est. God is love. There is no man who can love of himself. Man can be only a channel of love. The feeling of forgiveness comes out of love. And only love forgives. We did this on the great holiday of Yom Kippur. The true love is stronger. It's stronger, no question about it, than death. He who loves never dies. Love brings the immortality. The salvation of man depends entirely on love. And when love manifests itself in man, even though he has fallen, he can at once rise above the circumstances. The happiness of man too depends on love. There are four manifestations of love in man. Love is aspiration within the heart. Love is feeling within the soul. Love is power in the mind. Love is principle in the spirit. And there is the whole cycle of development from the beginning to the end. So Deus caritas est, eternal, boundless, full of life, life of the gentle divine spirit, the spirit of sanctity, the spirit of charity, the spirit of complete peace and joy in every single soul. Amen. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is the thing that came to my mind, to share with you about the love, that Mother Teresa gave to every one of us a great example to love neighbor, to love our neighbor as your organization, every one of us are doing, helping those poor people, those refugees. They are our neighbors.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. We're very grateful to have you here and to have your beautiful words spoken tonight.
Thank you.
Your partnership is everything to us. Thank you, Father. I'd like to introduce Ilse Thielman, Director of the Volunteer Aid Group Team TLC NYC, who's been on the front line at Port Authority, welcoming Venezuelans and other asylum seekers on buses. And in the news, hit the New York Times this past weekend. So we're very honored to have you here, Ilse. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, I'm honored to be told that you're honored to have me. It's really been overwhelming. I never expected to be in the New York Times for the work I was doing. I've been doing this for 3 years and on a very, very small scale compared to what's been happening, and never expected any sort of, never expected to be at the head of something like this for sure. But it has been beyond inspiring, and I thank you, Father, for that homily about love, because that was what I was going to talk about, that there has been such an incredible outpouring of love, and I'm going to get choked up because it has been as overwhelming as the problems have been. It has been more overwhelming in a really positive way. The outpouring of love that I have witnessed and that I have experienced and I have felt from New Yorkers, from my volunteers, from our partners, from the asylum seekers themselves. There's just nothing, there's no other word for it but to describe it, but love. And if you would allow me to share my screen, I would just want to share this beautiful, very short little Instagram post that my incredible volunteer, Victoria Balducci, created and posted on Instagram. I'm so grateful that that she came along and has taken over our social media. When you see what she's created, you'll know why. But it's just a very brief thing that kind of just a little montage with music, and it's quite moving to me. I can't stop watching it. So I thought I'd share that to begin with, just give you a visual of what we've been up to. So I'm not sure I'm going to do this right, but I will give it my best. Where is it? No, that's not it. Those are my texts. Okay. Back to sorry about this. I was practicing earlier, but obviously didn't get it right. Okay, share screen. Where is my video? Forgive me for this. I did practice before. Okay.
Don't worry.
Desktop.
There you go.
Oh, after that big lead up, I'm not going to be able to share it. I'll get it from Victoria's. Here it is. It's just lovely, and I hope you'll all appreciate it as much as I have.
Los derechos para los latinos desde aquí en este país. ¿Okay? Not just me, but thousands of people has made this sacrifice for a better life. I got my helpers today. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Florida. Okay, entonces pónganse aquí. ¿Cuánto para que caiga, para que se coja
So what you saw there was just a little smattering of what we do. The beginning was my partner Power Malu, who runs Artists, Athletes, Activists, who has become, he came on as a volunteer for Team TLC NYC, and he brought with him a whole incredible group of people. And at some point I said, you're not just volunteers. Who are you? What is this group? And they said, well, we're this group of activists on the Lower East Side. We're called Artists, Athletes, Activists, and we've been doing this kind of work for years. And we have dealt with, the Bronx fire, and during COVID, and Sandy, and whatever else. They've just sprung into action with no funding whatsoever. And so that was the first, sort of example of just this incredible love. They came with no branding. They didn't want to have any credit as this group. They just came as a group and just jumped in and started doing this incredible work. You saw that we had Anderson Cooper come down to Port Authority and interview Power Malu, who runs the group. We've got, as you said, a lot of press, a lot of attention for what we've been doing down there. But long before we got any attention, we were getting just this incredible response from all quarters, including thank you to this group. And it has made the journey so uplifting, even as it's been exhausting. You know, I'm not a morning person, and getting up at 4:30 in the morning, 6 days a week has not been fun. But then I get there and I cannot help but be energized and uplifted by this incredible outpouring. So what we do is, as the asylum seekers are getting off the buses, we greet them, we welcome them, we give them smiles. This is what I keep telling my volunteers: just make sure you're smiling and being positive and being kind. And if you feel the impulse to put your arm around somebody, go ahead. Like they need that human connection, that love. That's the one thing that we're able to provide, that, you know, like the city and Port Authority and the state and all these other actors who are, you know, I believe trying in good faith to help people, that they can't. That's just not in their purview. So what we are offering above all is love. So I was very grateful for that introduction earlier, Father. And we do small things with love. I mean, we're not, you know, rescuing people. We're giving them a meal. We're giving them, you know, a moment of just, you're okay, relax. We're giving little toys to the children. We're giving them some water. We're sitting them down. We're having a conversation with them and asking what their needs are. We're not promising we can meet them, but to actually have someone listen to them has been so huge for these people that they keep coming back now. So what we're seeing now, after having greeted thousands upon thousands of newly arriving asylum seekers, and I've got one right here with me right now. I've got 2 people living with me right now. Hello again. You know, it's just treating them like human beings, you know, treating them with some kindness. And so after all these people have arrived and been, you know, transported either to their families here in the city or to the shelters, they keep coming back to Port Authority. They come back to Port Authority because they want to get some food, because they're not getting adequate food in the shelters. They're coming back because they want clothing, because they're not getting clothing, but they're coming back because they want some love. And we give that to them. And not only are they coming back to receive love, but they're coming back to volunteer. So every single day we have Venezuelan and other newly arrived asylum seekers volunteering on the ground at Port Authority and welcoming the next wave of people coming in. And love begets love. You know, we have shown them love. Now they are inspired to show us love and to show the newly arriving people love. So it's just been an absolutely incredible ride. And now that the buses are slowing down, mostly in response to the changes in the Biden administration's, you know, immigration policy vis-a-vis Venezuelans, we want to perpetuate that. We want to keep that going because people still are coming back. They're going to keep coming back even if the buses aren't coming. We had over 150 people come back to Port Authority today. We had 50 people arrive on the bus and 150 people come back looking for some assistance and for some love. So we're working on persuading the Port Authority to allow us to have some presence ongoing in the Port Authority, even once the buses stop arriving. So that is part of our ongoing mission, is just to continue to assist these people and to not just give them food and clothing, but to help them access the many services that are available both through the city and through charitable organizations and other NGOs. So today we had a table set up for an organization called Mixteca. We had a pro bono lawyer there, immigration lawyer there, and we plan to bring in other services as well going forward. And we're praying and hoping, and we're going to try to persuade the Port Authority to allow us to continue to do that. But there are a lot of other projects in the work. I don't want to take up more time than has been allotted to me, but we are very excited to have a meeting tomorrow among all of our volunteers to get their ideas and to share the leadership's ideas about how we move forward now, even if there are no longer any buses coming. So yeah, that's my basic spiel. I don't want to, like I said, take up any more time, but I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you tonight. And thanks so much for saying that you're honored. I'm honored that you're honored.
Thank you, Elsa. You know that I came that one early morning, I'm not a morning person at all. And I jumped out of bed. Abby Marcus, who's on the call, we were so excited and we still can't get over it. And we we want other people on this call to come. Abby has a quick question for you. Abby?
Do you need help this weekend? Do you need help on Sunday?
We are really regrouping and figuring out. I don't think we're going to have any more buses this week. We had one bus today, which is basically unheard of. We were getting 8, 9, sometimes 10 buses a day, and it's just really, slow to a crawl. But please stay tuned, because if another bus comes in, obviously we will. And as I said, we still have 100 people, sometimes more than that. We had 150 people today coming back. So we're figuring out what the staffing needs are for that portion of the program. So, if you want to jump on the call tomorrow and hear what we have to say and provide some input as well, that would be great. But I am going to be reaching out to all the volunteers from Team TLC to keep everybody apprised of what the needs are and allow you to come down and share the love.
Great. Well, I put the link to the Zoom in the chat box, everyone. And I will definitely be on it. We'll send word out to the community as we do, Elsa, don't worry. And we're here for this. We really want to step in. And we will.
And I feel that, I really feel that.
I know you
could
do.
not have made me feel more welcome and more backed up and supported. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There is a lot of love in this room tonight, everybody. This was not planned. Father, you set the tone really well, because we're moving from one piece of love to another. As you all know, before the Afghan crisis hit last year, almost a year ago, can you believe it? Many of us were immersed in this work for many years, including myself. And most of the people that I had resettled prior to the fall of Kabul were from Afghanistan. And so during the pandemic, I started a project with Pam Bolton, who's on this phone, from Neighbors for Refugees, and created a group of women who made masks. I fundraised about $25,000 and paid them. It was the first money they'd ever made. And it meant everything to me. And ever since then, I take great pleasure, and everyone in WJCI, particularly Marty and Ruth, know that this is personal for me. Rising and helping to empower refugee women is everything. And so I came up with a project called the Afghan Women's Circle. WJCI partnered with an amazing organization, and you're going to hear from them right now, called Elena's Light, run by my friend and beautiful colleague, Fareshta Ganjavi, and Varsha Jarari, who's Director of Program Development. And you're about to hear about it. And I hope that you're impressed, because we just love it so much. So Fareshta and Varsha, please speak.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It was really my pleasure to hear from the father, and also hear from you, Alyssa, about the great program and project that you have. All of this just tell me how beautiful hearts you all have, and try to help a community like myself. I came as a refugee with my mother in 2011. We came to Connecticut, and I cannot say in a word how happy and excited I was when I was in GFK. And I can tell you how happy people are when they are getting off of the bus and coming to the US. For you, Alyssa, my little wish was when I came here at the night, that was something I'm telling my other people, the resettlement agency who helping us, say, can you have a flower and the US flag when they come? Just give it to them. That would be really good things in their memory for lifetime. Thank you so much for all you do. When I came here, Varsha, do you want to share the PowerPoint?
Sure, I'll share it right now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I will say a little bit, and more Varsha can explain. It is our honor to be partner and collaborate with the Afghan Women's Circle program. This is not the way I know WJCI and your team. It's been a long time. It's a big, long friendship that I had with Holly and all other work that she does. When she told me about this idea that she had and start creating the curriculum and the thing, then we would really eager to jump in and try to see how we can help. Sorry, I'm at the kids' room and all the toys start talking. Okay, and then we start planning. But let me tell you a little bit about Eleanor's Light, and then we can go to the Afghan Women's Circle. Uh, Myself, as a Afghan refugee who came in 2011, and I went to the school to get my second bachelor and the other degree, and then planning to go for the PhD. I had a lot of hope and idea in my brain to change the world the way I want. But when I came here, I wasn't able to even get a bus from my home to the downtown where I want to go. I was thinking I cannot do all of these things. My mother told me to ask everyone what you want, even if you are sitting here. I started asking people, withdrawing what I need. My English wasn't that strong to communicate. And now I am in a stage trying to do help for the several people who came refugee like myself. When we started Eleanor's Light, the goal was to empower refugee women from all over. What I saw in my community, there is a lot of refugee families came here to the US. Thanks for all the resettlement agencies, thanks for all of the volunteers, all of the sponsorship groups to give them all necessary things for the few months or years they are here. But what happened after that? Most of the men get a job, most of the women is still at the same level for years. In Connecticut, same as New York, the weather is so cold. Most of the women are at home and they really need to get these English classes, get these resources they are needing. And then we start planning to write an idea, have a pilot program to teaching women English, but one-on-one at their homes. We had all of these women and volunteers one-on-one at their homes before COVID. When COVID hit, everything we changed it to the online platform and some in-person session, which similar to the program that we do with the Afghan Women's Circle. We minimize all of these meetings, but still we have that connection with the volunteers and the Eleanor's Light team, and also the awesome women we have. Connecticut, we receive a lot of new refugees, especially from Afghanistan in last year after Afghanistan crisis happening. And it's really hard to see the news and to hear what's happening in my Afghan fellows, Afghan women in Afghanistan. I don't want the same thing happening for them here, to come here and not getting proper education to help themselves or help the community. With getting education, like learning how to speak English, how to communicate with the doctor, how to communicate with the teachers. This way they can get back and return to the community. At Eleanor's Light, we have several programs, which I would like to turn the mic to Varsha to explain. I'm so happy and honored to be here. I don't want to talk too much. I know it's late and everyone, the time is really important. But everyone, if you like to learn more about us and would like to support us on any of the program that we have, please come visit our website, go to the Facebook and Instagram. We are all over. Follow us, and I'm so excited and happy for what I'm doing. Thank you, Holly, again for inviting us.
Thank you, Firsta. This is just a few photos. It does not cover everything that we do at Elena's Light, but just a little bit to share with you all. We have held classes, we have speaker series, which you can see here, where we highlight refugee voices. We do quite a lot for the community, whether it comes to our ESL classes or helping with rental assistance via signing them up for whatever they may need. And we do a lot with mental health as well. But the moment you've all been waiting for, this is something that we've worked with Holly with. very closely, and her wonderful team. And this has really been a team effort. We could not have done this program as wonderfully as we have without Holly and her wonderful team. And thank you to Marty as well. So we started this program because, like Firsta said, we did not want the same things that are happening in Afghanistan to happen here. We wanted women to be empowered. We wanted them to feel as though they can be something for themselves and not just something for their husbands, not just something for their fathers, not just something for their kids. We want them to know that they can be something for themselves. Therefore, we started this wonderful program where we have 15 recently settled Afghan women. They're all from Westchester, or at least in the area. And this program is a 5-session program every other Sunday. And we've currently had 3 sessions, and these pictures are from those past 3 sessions. And we have 2 more that are upcoming in the next month or so. And every session, Rachel, who is my colleague, and I, we try to touch on the things that we think are important for women to know, and the things that are important for them to understand, so that they can think for themselves, so that they can make their own decisions, and so that they can feel empowered. Those topics vary every week, and they go from parenting. Our last session is all about transportation and how to drive. We talk about how to get a bank account, how to get a job, how to be empowered in your own skin. Those are all the important topics that we talk about. And here are a few more pictures. We also have childcare as well for the women, just so that they can be a little bit more removed from their personal lives and their responsibilities, and they can sit down with us in the room for an hour and a half and be present in the moment and feel as though they're doing something for themselves and not for the people around them or their kids. And this has definitely been the most fulfilling thing I've done so far, I believe, in the refugee community. You can see in the women's faces that they are incredibly grateful for this opportunity, and they are willing to learn, and they're willing to create something for themselves. And I think that this program was revolutionary in their lives, and they really needed this. And I'm really happy that Holly and Firsta collaborated on this program, which Rachel and I teach every week with immense joy. Yeah, Firsta, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Thank you so much, Varsha. Did you want to add anything, Varsha?
I think I promised to tell you why the name of organization is Elena's Light. Is there any time I can explain that very quickly?
Very, very quickly.
Okay, very quick. Yeah, Elena is my daughter's name, but I'm not that selfish to have her name, organization name. In some Middle East country and some Middle East culture, woman name is a taboo. That's why I said, okay, let's break this taboo and have a woman, a female name, organization name. Elena is also meaning light and bright future, and it's a common name in several countries. That's why we have it Elena. And then the second part means light. Light is a symbol of education. We say with this brighter future that we are creating, bring education to the refugees' families. That's why we have Elena's Light.
Thank you so much, Vareshta. And I love this program. We love this program so much. I think I'll cry when it ends, but there will be a 6-month mentorship program that we're putting together for these women to further and continue what they learn and want to do in life. And we're just really excited about that. Now I'd like to introduce Russ Agdern. He is grassroots campaign manager at our very, very, very close brother and sister organization, HIAS, who we work with on every single thing, every step of the way. And Russ, you are a brother to me. Please take it away. He's going to give us an update, a global update.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Holly. And it's I say this every time. I grew up at Temple Beth Abraham in Terrytown. It is really, it does my neshama, my soul good to get to connect with folks. I also know several people on the call, both from work with WJCI, also from a past life in the pre-pandemic times where I worked with RAC New York, and I even have an older friend from another world of my my professional life here, my old friend Aviva. It is great to be on with everybody. I'm going to try to go quick because I understand it is the evening. I want to cover just a couple of things that are happening or have happened, and then sort of two big pieces that are coming up down the pipe. And I'm excited to know that WJCI will be in on this with us at HIAS. So the first update is since the last time I connected with you, the Biden administration set a refugee ceiling, which is known as the presidential determination. We had been advocating for one of 200,000. The Biden administration set the number as 125, which is not as big as we wanted, but is still also a solid number, so long as they actually work with Congress to get the resources to the State Department program so that number can actually happen. The previous year, or the fiscal year that ended September 30th, all those weeks ago, was also 125,000, but we only ended up having a little more than 25,000 refugees come in through that program. Some folks will say that that part of that was because there was a significant amount of time and attention, and understandably so, working to deal with the situations in Afghanistan and also in Ukraine after the invasion by Putin and Russian forces. And yet, we still have people who, thanks to the previous administration, have been waiting years in that State Department line to come in. And we think that this government can actually both attend to the immediate needs of crises and also work to bring in the folks that have done all the things our government has asked of them, and now all they do is wait to be able to come in. So we are hopeful that we will get to see some more resources sent the State Department's way so they're able to manage that. That's something that we're constantly advocating on. The second piece that is a bit more recent and a little bit more frustrating, I'm sure folks have already heard, especially given Ilsa's discussion of the new Biden administration policy, which is a two-parter. And I gotta say, from a highest perspective, we are not exactly thrilled with either part. So the first part was adding Venezuela to the list of countries that are covered by the ban of asylum at the southern border through the use of Title 42. This was enacted without any even like vague reference to COVID or the pandemic whatsoever. They were just added to the list of countries, even though there are thousands upon thousands of folks trying to flee Venezuela. This was also a change that was made like while people were on their way here, to the point where if they hit the border at one time, they could get in. If they hit the border by crossing on land a different time, they would be sent back, and it would impact their ability to participate in the new DHS program. Which the second piece of this is really frustrating to me as well. They're doing a new, very small program of humanitarian parole for Venezuelans. But here's the problem with that. There are only 24,000 spots. That's problem number one. Problem number two is you have to have people here. You have to have means. You have to have your own passport. And when people are fleeing for their lives from their homes, right? I don't have to tell this group, obviously, but I just get very hot about this. When you're fleeing for your lives from your homes, it shouldn't be a precondition of you being able to find safety that you have a cousin that's here, or that you have significant financial resources such that you won't, you be able to prove that you won't be a financial burden. That's not how asylum is supposed to work. Unfortunately, we of Jewish communities know this all too well. And this also comes on the heels of there's been very little review of how actually things have worked well and what needs improvement on the government side for this program, to say nothing of the fact of my biggest problem with this, which is it's another parole program, which means that there is still no pathway to residency or citizenship for the Venezuelans that come for this program, for the Ukrainians that come for you, and most on my mind, as a few of you know, for the last over year, and I know this is something that WJCI has been in on since the spring of 2021. But the Afghans that came here in August and September and October of 2021, they have no pathway to permanent residency or citizenship, and their clock is starting to get a little short, especially as we're looking at the possibility of what a new Congress might look at. So that brings me to my third sort of update, and also, yep, Abia, you saw me telegraphing that, huh? That's exactly where I'm headed next. So first of all, the Afghan Adjustment Act is something that Hyas and of course you leaders at WJCI have been working on for over a year at this point. The most recent effort for the Afghan Adjustment Act was to try to push really hard to get it included in the continuing budget resolution, which needed to pass basically also by the end of the fiscal year by September 30th. And while we were able to get it introduced, and it actually was introduced with bipartisan support, in the end, we weren't able to get enough bipartisan support to have it included in that continuing resolution. So that's the bad news. The good news is there is going to be at least one more bite at this apple in this Congress. We're still working with our colleagues, our big national coalition partner colleagues, to figure out exactly what the strategy is going to be in the post-election session of Congress, but there will be one, because that continuing resolution expires in mid-December. So unless people want a government shutdown, there's going to be at least one more chance at this. And I'm working with leaders like you in Westchester and leaders like you all over the country to continue to push. And this is something that, we're working to target Senate Republicans, but we're working to target everybody because, forgive me if I lapse into a little Yiddish, we really need to light a fire under everybody's tuchus in Congress, even the people that say they're with us, to push to make this a priority. So that is one big thing that's going to be coming up soon. And I'm going to be looking, as always, I look to WJCI for leadership. You guys had a bunch of incredible meetings during our previous advocacy period. Other thing I want to just throw out real quick is we are working on our calendar and our timeline for 2023. The biggest thing that's coming is in the most immediate is there's going to be, Refugee Shabbat is actually about a month earlier than it has been the last couple of years. This year, it's going to be early February, the first weekend in February. And we're really excited about that. The other piece that's related to that is we are working to figure out what our advocacy for the first several months of this new Congress is going to look like. And similarly to 2021, we are thinking about doing a welcome card campaign where people can go to their communities to work, to educate and build support for refugees and asylum seekers, and have a welcome card that sort of functions like a petition, but it's then something you can present to your new members of Congress. Some of you I know are going to have new members of Congress, and whether they're a new member of Congress to you or they're just a part of the new Congress, to let them know that they have a lot of constituents in houses of worship that care about these issues. So the timeline on those pieces is still coming together, and super excited to work with everyone. And I think I have a little over my time, so I'm gonna stop right there. It's always a pleasure, and you guys all know how to find me. And if you don't, I know Holly will make sure you can. Thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure, and to hear about the other great work that's happening really does my heart good.
Thank you so much, Russ. Always a pleasure, and an education that we desperately need every time we meet. So thank you. Speaking of Hyas, WJCI is working super close with them right now. We ventured into a new piece of work called Welcome Circles. Welcome Circles, some of you on the phone on this call are familiar with them. It's a new model of resettlement where a group of 5 to 8 people can come together to help take care of a family from Ukraine. They started this during the Afghan crisis, and formed over 30 circles across the country. And now there are already over 40 in formation. WJCI stepped in right when the war broke out. It was right when Refugee Shabbat was taking place in 45 synagogues and religious schools and colleges. And we decided that this is it. We have to step up. And we have, with the help of UJA, the Jewish Federations of North America, the Shapiro Foundation, we have been given a grant to do this work. We're working so closely with Highest every day. I think I'm on the phone with them, with you guys every day now. And so far we have formed successfully 6 circles in Westchester, right where we live. There's one, actually Neighbors for Refugees, who's got several members of the call, have formed one. Congregation Sons of Israel, Barracliff Manor, Larchmont Temple, Westchester Jewish Center. There's one called Larchmont for Ukraine and in Scarsdale Presbyterian Church. Chabad of the River Towns, Reset, which includes a number of congregations, synagogues, churches, and mosques. And our newest one is Northwest Bronx Welcome Circle. It's really, really exciting. Last week I was on a call with a family coming from Europe. Feels very, very powerful to be involved in where you really feel like you're saving people from a war zone. And a new partner is Westchester Jewish Community Services. Rabbi Michael Goldman is here. They came in, as Michael was telling a group of us earlier, this is the first time they've stepped into the refugee crisis in this way, partnering with us. And I'd like Michael to spend a few minutes talking about what they're doing in our very, very big project. Michael.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks to everybody who's spoken. I'm going to try to tell the story of how this project came about pretty quickly, and then tell you what the practical things that we're involved in right now. So WJCS, unlike many other family services organizations, never dealt, to my knowledge, didn't have a refugee resettlement arm. Some family service organizations have. Nevertheless, we're a big, very, very diverse direct service organization in Westchester. That's our catchment area. More than 600 employees doing all kinds of things. I'm going to put our annual report in the chat, not only because it's a great annual report and you can see the money spent wisely. We do it's great stories in there, but also because on page 10, but please don't just scroll down. There's a list of the panoply of, I don't know, like 4 dozen different programs that WJCS does. So you should just know that if you are in Westchester or you have clients or loved ones in Westchester, that we offer all kinds of human services. All right. One relatively small corner of that arena of services is called Jewish programs. And in that place, we attend to some of the special needs of the Jewish community, including our aging and quickly, vanishing population of Holocaust survivors. I speak with them every day, and not all of them, of course, but I'm, it's part of my pastoral mission is to spend time with them. And when the war started in Ukraine, people started freaking out. We heard PTSD over the phone. People saying this I'm remembering the blockade of Leningrad. I remember the sieges in Western Ukraine where I grew up. Now I understand the stories that my parents told me. And people said, everybody started thinking, you got to do something. We didn't quite have the means to get our very, very aging clients involved, although some of their kids are. But we realized we needed to have some kind of response. And specifically for this community of people from Ukraine, because we share a common history with them. And right at that time, WJCI kind of stepped closer into our radar, and we started this partnership. Holly, go-getter that she is, helped secure a grant which resulted in our being able to hire a 15-hour-a-week care manager. She started on the 3rd. Her name is Natalia Drofort. She's a native Ukrainian speaker. and has been in this country about 10 years, has personal experience in getting relatives through the various immigration hoops, and is, kind of at this point on the ground and working almost at 15 hours. And we're just beginning to have our first successes. So with that, I'm going to tell you what the programs are that we are currently doing and what the kind of telescopic outlay is. And for right now, it's all very short term. We're responding in a kind of Maslowian hierarchy of needs, dealing with the get them clothed first. But that inventory of projects is shifting kind of weekly as we learn of new needs. So first of all, it's just Natalia reaching out to those people to whom she can reach out, which is not an easy thing always, because not everybody has a phone, and people are living in weird places. And I'm really appreciating the dedication of some of the folks like you, Ilsa, who are putting folks up at incredible personal inconvenience and expense. Okay, our first project, and it's actually, there was fruit today, was a clothing drive through 914 Cares, and we've gotten, I think, a dozen families, total outfits of, I don't know how to put it other than Westchester worthy 1 week wardrobe. So kids can go to school and look like the kids that go to their school. All used stuff, all donated stuff through 914 Cares. We're just now setting a date for a bi-weekly support group for Ukrainian speaking women. And Natalia's going to run that. And she has some experience with doing support groups and running them. We're beginning to help people on an individual basis to sort through the various channels and hoops that they need to go through to get the appropriate and optimal immigration status. And our goal eventually is also to help people with jobs and to work with, although I understand that their organizations are doing similar work, mentorship and resume writing and so forth. So we're going to go where we're needed. And this has come together very quickly. And so there's a certain amount of improvisation, but there's such goodwill and there's such volunteer muscle and there's such passion behind this on the part of the general community that it's gonna be good. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you guys too on this really, really special work. It means so much to know that we're helping people in the way that we are and primarily mobilizing people to do this work, like all of you on this call. WJCI exists to mobilize all of you, to encourage you, to empower you to do this work. So on that note, Russ mentioned Refugee Shabbat, very big initiative for us. If you want to do something special, have a speaker, have special food made, please let us know. We can facilitate that. We will be running a very special communal Seder in March, which we're really excited about for our new refugee families. And I think you heard a lot about what we're doing. We don't like to go too long over the hour. If anyone has a question, I want you to have a very quick moment to be able to ask it, and then we're going to call it a night. Does anyone want to ask her or say anything? You don't have to ask something. You could just speak. If not, we'll go over and out at 9:02. The email is holly@WJCI. Email us and me with any questions about anything you've heard tonight if you want to get involved with any of these efforts. And that's it. Lila Tov, have a good night. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Holly.
Great.
Bye, Lito.
Good night. Thanks.
Good to see you, Larry. Always.